Hello and welcome to a special interview for The Wire supported by Glendivid Books. Today we examine the manner in which the lower judiciary has handled the Aryan Khan case. Is Aryan Khan the victim of injustice? And is the lower judiciary failing to defend the fundamental rights of the Indian people? And if that is the case, then what sort of society are we in danger of becoming? Those are the three key issues that I shall raise today with one of India's foremost lawyers, a former president of the Supreme Court Bar Association, Dushyant Dave. Dushyant Dave, it's exactly 23 days since Aryan Khan was arrested in jail, and the lower judiciary has repeatedly and consistently refused to give him bail. Yet, he's never been accused by anyone of consuming drugs, and no drugs have been found on him either. Do you believe that the lower judiciary, as a result, has made a mockery of the Supreme Court law that bail is the norm, jail is the exception?
Well, I must say that the entire approach of the lower judiciary in Aryan Khan's case reflects complete, lack of understanding of the law on the part of the subordinate magistrates. Their consistent failure to follow the law declared by the Supreme Court, the law which is very crystal clear that this is a case where at the most he is liable to be convicted for 1 year, if at all. According to me, there is nothing against him, and he shouldn't have been charged in the first instance at all. But assuming that the Narcotics Control Bureau's case is right, he can be convicted for 1 year, in which case he is entitled to be released on bail. That's what the Supreme Court has said, that the Act itself says that this is a small quantity, and that's why 1 year's imprisonment is provided. But most of all, there is a direct judgment of the learned judge who's today hearing in the Bombay High Court himself, Justice Nitin Sambre, in Sohail Samir versus State of Maharashtra, where somebody was found with 430 grams of, charas, and the learned judge granted bail, as early as 27th of August 2018. So I am surprised that that judgment has not been even looked at by the magistrate concerned.
Let me take up some of the fundamental points you made one by one, because I think they're terribly important. You began by saying that the entire approach of the lower judiciary reflects complete lack of understanding of the law. Are you actually saying that the judges at the lower level, we're talking about magistrates, simply don't know the law?
Well, it's both. I mean, there are judges who are really not very well conversant with the application of law. There are judges who are not willing to apply the law for whatever reason. So there is a case of I would say clear case of insubordination on the part of subordinate judiciary to the High Court's law, to the law declared by the Supreme Court. And this is something which is very worrying, because this is a recent phenomenon. It's not a very recent phenomena in the sense that for years this has been happening, but it's becoming now more prevalent, more apparent since in last 5-7 years. Because of the high profile cases in which innocent people are picked up by the investigating agencies, and the magistrates are not willing to see through this malicious and false prosecutions.
Now, is it simply a matter of the lower judiciary either not being conversant with the law or not wishing to apply the law, or is it in fact also something worse? Is there a sense in which the lower judiciary is becoming intimidated by the executive and not wishing to give a ruling or an outcome that they know the government won't like?
See, the fact that the NCB arrested Aryan Khan, who did not have any, psychotropic substance or narcotics on him, itself shows that his detention and his arrest and his subsequent request for his, remand and opposing his bail it shows that they have taken law into their own hands. These are the officers who are supposed to know the law as well. They are supposed to assist the courts. They are supposed to be the guardians of citizens' rights while ensuring that the drugs are not available, they are not sold, and they are not consumed. But they are not supposed to pick up innocent people and push them and virtually hound them to, so that's the first aspect, that the agencies have really committed gross impropriety, illegalities to my mind. And secondly, of course, they intimidate the judges again and again. And I am very, very clear that, these high profile cases, the judges are getting, I would say, intimidated by the fact that the accused appears to be the son of a very, high profile, public figure. And so the judge, goes into some kind of a back foot. Secondly, the judges are also concerned about, the pressure that Narcotics Control Bureau applies, and particularly by engaging the services of none other than the Assistant Solicitor General before a magistrate's court. Now that itself, is extremely daunting on the subordinate judiciary.
But you've raised three fundamental points. Number one, you're saying judges may not be conversant with the law. That's the one thing they're supposed to know. It's shameful if they're not conversant with the subject they're meant to know and enforce. Or you're saying they're not willing to enforce the law, in which case they have no business to be judges because they're there to enforce the law. Or thirdly, they get intimidated because high-profile cases come to them, and sometimes the ASG comes to represent, and that intimidates them as well. Whichever of the three it is, doesn't this mean that the wrong sort of person is becoming a magistrate?
See, I'll tell you something more shocking, that why this, boy should have been given bail in the first instance and should have never been sent to for remand or judicial custody. Because the Supreme Court since last year has said that all those people who are in jail or who are facing, trials or convicted of offenses less than 7 years of imprisonment because of COVID situation should be set free. Now, while passing that order, the Supreme Court relied upon another judgment of the Supreme Court, which is extraordinary, where they said, and this is what I must tell you, people must know, Supreme Court said, our endeavor in this judgment is to ensure that police officers do not arrest the accused unnecessarily, and magistrates do not authorize detention casually and mechanical. In order to ensure what we have observed above, we give the following directions. Now, this judgment has been specifically incorporated by the Supreme Court when it passed the order on 23rd March 2020 in COVID prisoners case. I had myself appeared as amicus curiae, and that's binding on these magistrates and the High Court.
But please, this is a very important point you're making, because not only have the magistrates in the Aryan Khan case completely ignored, or maybe worse, they're even unaware of the Supreme Court judgment that you've quoted, but you also said earlier that they either ignored or were unaware of the Samre judgment of 2018, when someone who was arrested with 430 grams, which is a fairly sizable amount, was immediately given bail. So this underlines the point you're making, that either magistrates are ignorant of what the Supreme Court and the High Court have done, or they refuse to follow the precedent set by the Supreme Court and the High Court. That's a pretty dreadful situation, because ignorance is unforgivable in a judge, and not following precedents means that you're insubordinate, which is also unforgivable. So I come back to my key question. Are the wrong sort of people being appointed magistrates? People who are not qualified either intellectually or in terms of their aptitude and attitude.
See, there is a very serious situation here. Let me add further that there is a judgment of the Supreme Court.
No, but can I interrupt you? This is the second time you're not answering my question. Answer that and then go on. Are the wrong type of people being appointed magistrates?
I am answering in my own way. There is a Supreme Court judgment of 3 judges bench, Justices Kaul and Justice Bose and Justice Murari, under NDPS Act, where during COVID, they granted bail to an accused, completely overlooking Section 37, which is being cited against this young man today in the High Court, saying that because of COVID situation, we will give him bail. Now, is this order not really applicable to all cases? So you are right, absolutely, that the judges are, unfortunately not either aware of these kind of developments in law, or are aware but are not willing to apply and follow them.
So then answer my question.
The answer to your question is that yes, there is something seriously ailing the subordinate judiciary. and it needs to be corrected as quickly as possible, especially in cases relating to life and liberty of citizens. And
Let
it
me ask
can't
that
be
question
traded.
one more time.
24 days you keep this young man inside without applying the proper law. The magistracy is answerable to the country, to my mind.
Absolutely. You said there is something seriously ailing the subordinate judiciary. For the third time, I'm going to try to put that same question to you. Does this mean the wrong sort of people are being appointed to the subordinate judiciary? Either people who are ignorant of the law or people who don't have the attitude to apply the law. Are the wrong sort of people being appointed?
I would say that by and large, subordinate judiciary consists of extraordinarily good judges. It is these individuals like this who really bring about, I would say, a bad name for the subordinate judiciary.
No, forgive me. I'm going to interrupt you there. I don't think it's true to say, no, forgive me, I'm interrupting you. I don't think it's true to say that by and large, good people are being appointed, because when it's a matter of bail, and I'm talking specifically about bail, the subordinate judiciary refused to give bail. Look what happened to Disha Ravi. Look what's happening in Delhi to the Muslim boys who are being charged with sedition or violence. In no instance is bail being given. People have been in jail for over a year. Bail only happens either at the High Court level or sometimes at the Supreme Court level. So I come back to my question. Are the wrong sort of people being appointed? Either they're ignorant or they don't want to enforce the law, or they get intimidated.
I think the right kind of people have been appointed, but sadly, the right kind of judges are today coming under pressure and not willing to act independently to do justice to the citizens. And that's a real worrisome problem.
My last question, and it arises out of everything we've discussed. Clearly, if we've reached a situation where the subordinate judiciary is failing to defend the fundamental rights of Indian citizens and is letting them down, then my question follows. Are you worried about the sort of society we are ending up as? Increasingly, it's a society where judges don't defend your rights. The government or its agencies are able to impose their will on the judiciary. People are often wrongly arrested. The very process of trial becomes a punishment. What sort of society are we ending up as?
I think we are increasingly becoming a police state. And that is something which is really a matter of grave concern, because, we are supposedly a democracy and supposedly a vibrant democracy, as our leaders, including the Prime Minister, constantly remind us. But, to make this democracy a functioning democracy, a working democracy, you need all the institutions to function properly. And judiciary has a great role to ensure that constitution prevails. Sadly, judiciary is making mistakes after mistakes in applying law and in ensuring that constitution is preserved properly, the constitutional rights are protected properly. And that is where I must say that judiciary's role is far from satisfactory.
Tushar Dave, I thank you very much for this interview. I remind the audience of the most critical thing that you said. Quite often, sometimes very increasingly, lower judges are either not conversant with the law, which means they don't know their job, or they refuse to apply the law, which means they refuse to do their job, or worse, they get intimidated by the government, which is the worst outcome of all. And as you said, the judiciary, and I'm quoting you, is making mistake after mistake in applying the law. I thank you for these outspoken comments. Take care, stay safe.
Thank you very much.